Thanks for inviting us in. It's now 11 o'clock, and we want to begin this evening with the shooting death of Charlie Kirk. The manhunt has now been underway for 8 hours since a gunman opened fire on a college campus in Utah. The governor out there calling it a political assassination. I want to show you some video. You can see people running from the scene today. The shooting happening as Charlie Kirk was fielding questions from an audience member about mass shootings and gun violence. Kirk is a longtime ally of President Donald Trump. He hosts these kinds of events at universities all across the country. In fact, he was scheduled to be at IU next month and appeared at Purdue back in April. Tonight, our Alex Almanza is getting reaction from here in Indiana. We'll hear from Alex in a moment, but first, Dan Scheneman is talking with investigators and witnesses.
Witnesses say thousands of people gathered at Utah Valley University to hear conservative activist Charlie Kirk when a shot was fired.
Charlie went to pick up the microphone to answer, and it looked like he was shot in on the left side of his neck. There was a lot of blood, and he went limp, and he started to fall backwards.
Kirk, who had just answered a question about shootings, was rushed away. President Trump has since posted on social media, "The great and even legendary Charlie Kirk is dead. No one understood or had the heart of the youth of the United States of America better than Charlie."
This incident occurred with a large crowd around. There was one shot fired and one victim.
Yes, we are actively looking for anyone and everyone who has any possible information relating to this shooting.
On campus, witnesses quickly scattered, and the campus near Provo was locked down.
It was terrifying. None of us knew what was going on. I was just in class. Someone heard a stampede of people running down the hallway. They checked it out, and immediately they lock the doors, just go in. There's been a shooting.
At Utah Valley University, classes are canceled, and the campus is now closed. Dan Scheneman, NBC News.
Continue our team coverage tonight at 11. Our Alex Almanza joins us tonight to show us how student groups are reacting to the shooting death of Charlie Kirk. Alex?
Scott, I talked with Turning Point USA leaders at IU who tell me they're working through the shock and grief and trying to make space for members who need support. They say there's a deep connection to Charlie Kirk here in Indiana. Kirk had appeared on Indiana campuses, including a stop at Purdue University this spring. He was slated for an IU visit next month. But tonight, Turning Point's IU chapter says the focus is student well-being.
One of our members came back from a Turning Point event and said that meeting Charlie gave them hope and they could make a real difference. That's the kind of impact he had, honestly. And I also want to be really clear about our organization's views. No matter if you like Charlie Kirk or hate Charlie Kirk or love Charlie Kirk, that has no excuse for violence in politics.
Now, Turning Point's IU chapter leaders say they'll share any memorials on their social media pages. If we learn of any plans, we'll share them as they come in. Scott?
Alex, thanks so much. Lawmakers from both sides tonight are condemning this shooting. Democrat Andre Carson posting on social media, political violence is never okay and must be stopped. In June, Minnesota Democratic lawmaker Melissa Hortman and her husband Mark lost their lives, and now Charlie Kirk lost his. My condolences are with Charlie's family, especially his young children. Republican Jim Baird released a statement tonight about Kirk, saying in part, he was a passionate leader and an inspiration for so many young conservatives in America. Charlie dedicated his life to serving God and advocating for the values that make our country the greatest nation on earth. That is just some of the reaction that we're hearing tonight from Indiana lawmakers and political leaders across our country. We've got more reaction online. In fact, we're also monitoring any updates on this investigation. You can find any new developments on WTHR.com, our news app, and of course on Sunrise, which gets underway at 4 o'clock tomorrow morning. And now to a deadly police shooting in Lawrence. Investigators tell 13 News a man charged at officers with a weapon before police opened fire. All of this unfolding around 1:30 this afternoon along Red Rock Road. This is near Pendleton Pike and Carroll Road. Police say they got a call to a group home where a caretaker had been assaulted. When they got to the scene, that's when they say the man came at them with a knife and police shot him. He was taken to the hospital and later died. We don't have any word yet on his identity. Police tell us no police officers were injured. Angela?
Scott, it's clear and warmer at this hour. Most of central Indiana in the 60s. We have 63 Bloomington, 60 Terre Haute, currently 63 in Lafayette, and we're close to 70 degrees in Indianapolis under those clear skies. As we head into our Thursday morning drive, sunrise is at 7:22. Early morning temperatures will be in the upper 50s and low 60s. We will warm quickly with plenty of hazy sunshine, expecting a high of 85 degrees. Haze and smoke will be issues at this point, not expecting any impact on air quality, but check out the temperatures over the next several days. We'll go from 85 tomorrow to near 90 come the end of the weekend, and that summer-like heat is going to continue. I'll cover that as well in the 7-day.
All right, we'll see you in a little bit, Angela. Thanks. Tonight at 11, we're getting our first glimpse at IMPD's budget plans for next year. IMPD presented it to the members of the Public Safety and Criminal Justice Committee. Our Logan Gay was inside that meeting tonight and breaks down the numbers.
IMPD Chief Chris Bailey says he believes this proposed budget will ensure that the men and women of IMPD are supported not only with words, but with actions. Wednesday, while sitting in front of the Public Safety and Criminal Justice Committee, Chief Chris Bailey told them this past year has been a year of progress, of opportunities, and continued determination for IMPD officers.
They face tremendous pressures, carry heavy burdens and expectations, and work through complex challenges daily on our behalf. And yet through it all, their commitment to this city and to our community never wavers.
The chief laid out the agency's goals and priorities, which include violence reduction, community engagement, technology, recruitment, and retention. The 2026 budget is more than $358 million.
Some major changes are that we have a $7.6 million increase in general funds, which is comprised of everything from personnel through equipment. It includes the union contract increases.
Currently, they have 1,409 sworn officers, 334 short of their goal of 1,743 officers. Personal services represents 81% of the total budget. That includes the 1,409 current sworn positions, 30 recruits to be hired by December 2025, and 120 recruits in 2026. According to IMPD, violent crime is down 30% since 2021 and 24% from 2024. Chief Bailey says this proposed budget delivers on their promise to fairly compensate officers and ensure they have the tools they need to continue to serve and keep those numbers down.
The mayor made a promise to meet the terms of our labor agreement and to compensate our officers fairly and appropriately. He has delivered on that promise, and at a time when law enforcement agencies across the country are struggling to recruit and retain officers, having a city that values and invests in its police department is essential.
Next, the proposed IMPD budget will head to the Review and Analysis Committee, where they'll send a recommendation to the full council to be voted on October 6th. In Indianapolis, Logan Gay, 13 News.
Tonight, state leaders are joining the growing chorus against a proposed rate hike for AES Indiana customers. The Indiana Office of Utility Consumer Counselor isn't the only recommending state regulator to deny this rate increase. In fact, leaders say AES should lower current rates. The OUCC's Director of Electric Division says in the last 10 years, AES rates have gone up 45%, outpacing inflation. AES is asking for a $192.9 million increase overhaul, but the OUCC says it should be a $21.2 million reduction to rates.
We've heard a lot of people talk about how high their rates are, and we understand that. Our office has been concerned about that, and the utility did not provide sufficient evidence for the rate increase that they're requesting.
The proposed increase would amount to about $21 a month. AES leaders say even if the increase is approved, AES would still have some of the lowest rates of any investor-owned utility in the state. There's going to be a hearing with the State Regulatory Commission and consumer advocates in November, but a final decision on this rate hike isn't expected until spring.